Good morning, folks. This is a short video on obesity, the microbiome, and more importantly, probiotics. And this basically came out of a personal observation. I dealt with some issue with antibiotics, and then proceeded to try recovering, and then things settled down and usual diet. But then I started to notice I was gaining weight for a unexpected reason. Basically, same diet, same consumption, same calories every day, but I was putting on weight. Then, in reviewing studies, which I do very regularly, I discovered a beautiful study where people who were obese or not obese, there was two sets of bifidobacterium. Two of them were high in people who were obese, and two of them were high in people who are not obese. In other words, the back and forth, which makes sense with the literature about obesity, and particularly fecal matter transplant in mice, which show that it's the gut bacteria determine things. So I ended up saying, okay, let's just double check, and then the light went on, and it became pretty easy to understand which probiotics I should take if I want to take off weight, and which probiotics I should not take if I want to add weight if I have to bleed. The first one I'm going to take a look at is a list of the probiotics, and I'm going to look for Akkermansia. And as you see, vast majority of studies shows low Akkermansia. So pendulum, the Akkermansia probiotic, is a definite should take if you want to use weight, which makes sense. It has been found effective for diabetes, which tends to be associated with high weight, so it absolutely makes sense. So probiotic number one to take, Akkermansia. Okay, let's go down and look at the next one, which is going to be at bifido. And here we have the bifidobacterium. And what we first notice is some reports high, some reports low at the species, at the family level, because it's not a family which, as a whole. So, as I found in one study, certain ones are found people who are obese and others who are not obese. And what we do find is we find breva and infantis are the ones which are particularly prone to cause obesity. And the other ones are ones which are not prone to cause obesity. Now, let's stop for one moment. Infantis. Infant. Now, if this bacteria is abundant in infant, which I recall it is, then it absolutely makes sense that it would be a bacteria to encourage weight gain. After all, that's what infant needs. So it's absolutely there. When somebody becomes adolescents, the need for weight gain goes down, and guess what? The ability to get fat goes down. In fact, I think there's a general tendency for slightly fat kids to become thinner at adolescence. So therefore, we see which ones we should do. Breve, bifidum are there. No generic animals, because it could be either one of them. In fact, generally I would avoid all of those because of the high risk of misclassifications, which means we end up with two real good ones, adolescents and bifidum, being the probiotics you should be taking. If you're absolutely sure your supplier have correctly identified the longum as subspecies longum, good. If it's just bifidum longum, then we don't know which, if it's the putting on fat one or taking off fat one. So warning, bifidum and breva are the key ones. And let's move on to lactobacillus. And there we have lactobacillus. And what we find is Reuteri is high. Ding! Guess what? Reuteri is high in infants. Very high in infants. Oh, what our infants want you to do? Put on weight. They want to take all the calories to get in and convert it. Hence, the Rotary makes absolute sense. Paracassi, Plantarum, there. So we basically have Plantarum and Paracassi are being the ones to consider. Let's do one last check. And Bacillus probiotics, nothing which stands out. So that basically covers the typical probiotics. Let's try nope, and that's it. So we end up with 3 now. Again, to get to this page is easy. You just simply go over to the PubMed page, the setting up here, this one here, goes there, type in the word, and it gives you a bunch of links. And if you're interested in actually reading the studies, all of them are there. There's a general description here, and now you have all the studies dealing with the bacteria involved, and then you have all studies which are being tested for treatment. So everything is sitting there, and if you are obese and you have a sample, when you log in and go to the cross-validated report, you will get a report on which probiotics and which other food and substances you do based on exactly where you are for the bacteria shift. So that's it. It's a short video, and its main purpose was, or my main purpose was, oh, I get it. Which probiotics are good to take off weight and which probiotics are good for adding weight. And it's important to know which one there are. Don't take mixtures because you have no idea of what the outcome is. It's literally Russian roulette. You want single species, and if you are interested in single species, then I would suggest you go over here and common question, risk with high food probiotics. And there are 3 sources here: custom probiotics, Maple Life Sciences, and bulk probiotics. Custom probiotics, ownerships for part of the world. Bulk, I think, is the same. Maple Life Science is who I personally use the most, and they ship worldwide, and they're also about the best price around, and surprisingly good price. So we go there, and I should point out one thing about Maple Life Science. I have no financial interest. It's just they are a good deal. For example, let's take a look at do I remember the spelling? No. Let's do Breva. Okay. Now, here we have it. I noticed a whole bottle of probiotics is $10. Far cheaper than local store. But now, if you say, okay, that's $10. If you go for 4 times as much, price goes up double. Then we get 4 times as much for twice as much if you get a larger bottle. Why? Because the bottling costs and the handling costs is where the money comes in. Hence, they can offer you far higher quantities. Like, for example, let's take 300. That's 300 for $30 versus what was it? $10 for free. So you get 10 times as much for 3 times the price. That is a nice ratio. Okay, so at that point in time, I'll shut up, and I think you got everything you need. So, if made the weight disappear or be added as you need it.